Hey all. Alright, I got my unification coil set up. I rearranged my room a little bit. Anyhow, this is what I'm playing with now. Unification coil, Vortex coil, what have you. Using a signal generator program on my laptop. I'm running this into... Sorry about the low light at the moment, but this is a realistic 35-watt solid-state PA amplifier, so it says right on the front. Now this has a 70-volt takeoff, 20-volt, 8-ohm, and then it's got the common, so your negative. These things are AC apparently, but get that out of the way. That's what it says. Now when I've been running this, I never take it over 1 on the volume, which I would imagine is like your gain, your master power out. So 35 watts, and I got on the 70-volt takeoff for these experiment things I do. So 35 watts, 70 volt, that's half an amp. 500 milliamps, and I've got it set on 1. I would imagine 500 milliamps is max. You know, on 10, 11 if you're in Spinal Tap, but then mine goes to 10. But I've got it set on 1. If it's a linear thing, maybe that's only 50 milliamps. Anyhow, here's the power on. Here's my signal generator. I've got this set at 6,615 hertz. Sine wave. Turn it on. You can probably hear that. And I got a whole lot of nothing right now. Okay. Oh yeah. There we go. Okay. Had to plug in output from the laptop. So, that 6,615 hertz, set at 1 on my little amp over there, is lighting this CFL with no guts, took them out, directly off the coil, right? That's lighting this. These lights here are being pulled off of an ignition coil. I'm only using the secondary windings. I've got the primary in there. It's all out of the case, no oil or anything in there. But I'm just coming off the secondary. Okay, this green lead comes down here, got it all wrapped up, goes into this one. A little 6 watt or so. Okay, into this one, another little 6 watt. Let's see, lights when I touch it. And the end of that goes into nothing. That's 1 wire on one side of that ignition coil. The other side, the red lead, comes down, around, and is going into this CFL with no guts. Okay, red lead, green lead comes down into this fluorescent, another little 6 watt thing, which goes into this yellow lead, which comes around to nothing. You can see, I tap on that, we get a little response there. So that's 1 wire off the other end of that. Now, go ahead and connect those up. Right, I haven't touched the amplifier at all. These lights are all coming off of this secondary winding on this ignition coil in the center of the unification coil. Okay, this is being run off the main, just as, you know, and 1-to-1 transformer, boom, 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 into this, and that's with the again, that's set on 1. I have no idea. I don't have the instruments to measure the power right now. I've actually blown a couple of multimeters, getting at least 700 volts out of this secondary here, probably over 1,000, because it did blank out a couple of times. Anyhow, that's the long and short of that. That's a 6615 hertz, right? And disconnect that. See, still got 1 wire transmission there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I've got this CFL. This is the primary. I'm going to pull this off of the unification coil. Side 1, side 2. All right, take that away, and I'm going to plug this in to a standard lamp with the CFL that has been plugged into a lamp here. Now I have to switch the frequency down. You see I'm still getting a little bit here out of that secondary from the ignition coil, but I'm going to drop the frequency down to 440 hertz. Boom. We get this over here. That's the CFL straight through. Now you can probably see we got the black and red in the middle here. That's my so A1, A2, B1, B2, I believe that. No. A1, B1, A2, B2. Anyhow, blah, blah, blah. That goes into there. That's getting my CFL lit. Here, I'm pretty much getting jack out of my secondary. Okay? Even if I take this coil, plug it in, I'm not getting a whole lot. Okay? Pretty much nothing. I'm going to bump this up to 605. Seemed like that was a fun frequency. Now I'm starting to get some response here. Okay. Oh, look at that. 605. I haven't touched the amp, which is sitting over there. This is still sitting like that. Yeah, I'm getting that. That's at 605 hertz. No change on the amp. Okay, I'm going to bump this up to 880. Notice the CFL dropped. The secondary is starting to pick up more though. Okay, complete that circuit. And it gets pretty large, you know, in terms of output. And check out the CFL up there. Doesn't really dim as I tap this in, but the secondary does get brighter. Okay. Anyhow, now I will take this out of the range of the CFL here. Very frequency dependent. I'm going to bump this up to 3000 real quick. Okay, lost the CFL up here. That's not going to respond. Down here, this is, yeah, it's not huge bright, but it's definitely going on. And notice this is not connected to anything. It's still one wire transference. And here, notice I start to get some pretty hefty sparks. I don't know how well that'll zoom in and whether it matters, but extremely frequency dependent, as most things are, but you know, this is in my house. It's fun. This is all running off of solar right now, so I have a good time with it. But I just wanted to share some of that. Let's get in on that. So again, that is all coming off of the, and use one of these lights, maybe show you, that ignition coil set in the center of my unification coil. And I did want to show you this. Okay, so got my CFL here that's being lit off the ignition. I'm going to pull this. So that's the green wire. And this is direct to that secondary CFL, but notice these are still one wire. There's no end on that now. And obviously quite a bit of, I don't even see a spark, but this is a good chunk of power. And that's pure induction through the center of that. Here, let me put it back on the back end. This thing seems to gain in resonance or yowza, capacitance. Anyhow, that's what I'm playing with tonight. And again, that thing's set on 1. And if it's 70 volts at 50 milliamps, that's 3.5 watts. I have no idea what the power curve looks like on that. And, you know, an unknown to me until I get meters. Anyhow, lots of fun, lots of light, lots of sparks, and that's it for tonight.